Just think when we started learning computers, most of the sources that teach you about the computer and its application, they tell you what computers can do, right? And with the time, we interact with the computers with our positive experience. That is, we know what computers can do, like playing videos, searching something on web, running applications. We rarely think about what computer cannot do. But the question is whether it is important to know what computers cannot do or what are the limitations of computers are. The answer is yes. Let us say you get a problem which cannot be solved, no matter how powerful computer or how good your programming skills are. If you are not familiar about the problem, you will waste your time, your money, and your resources. But if you are aware about the problem, you won't waste your efforts and resources to solve something that is fundamentally impossible. If you get a problem to solve which is provably unsolvable or intractable and you are familiar with the problem, you will set realistic goals. You can educate the person who has given the problem and you can convince the person to change the expectation and set some realistic goals. If you are someone who are interested in solving the computational problem, you must know the limitations of a computer. If you are aware that a problem is hard to solve, you can focus on other approaches, not to find the exact solution but reasonable solution. As computational problem solver, you can shape yourself to design algorithms that adjusts reasonable solution using reasonable budget and in reasonable time. AI tools are flooded. Everyone is talking about AI, but if you know what computers cannot do, then you know that what AI cannot do. You will have a good understanding why human intelligence is still needed. In summary, knowing what computers cannot do or their limitations helps to avoid waste efforts, set realistic expectations, guide innovation, and protect security. Now, the next question is what we should learn to know what computers cannot do. The answer is complexity theory, a branch of theoretical computer science that investigates the limits of computation. In complexity theory, the theory of NP-complete is very important topic. NP-complete problems are the hard problems to solve and they appear everywhere in real life, such as scheduling, resource allocation, circuit design, routing, and logistics. Since their applications are very common in day to day life and they are hard to solve, other algorithmic approaches exist and being designed to give reasonable solutions. If you are a computer science student, you will find NP-complete problems across the fields of computer science, such as operating system, databases, computer graphics, cybersecurity, software engineering, and computer networks. NP-complete problems for instances of small size seems less complex, but for large size instances, problem becomes very complex to solve. Learning NP-complete theory is a core skill. It will help you to recognize intractability early and you will focus on alternatives, saving you time and effort. Approaches to handle NP-complete problems are practical skills, but you have to be familiar with NP-complete problems first. Let us understand the need of learning of NP-complete theory. Suppose a friend of yours opens a restaurant in a city with light traffic where delays due to congestion are rare. The restaurant receives many food orders from different customers at different locations. There is one delivery boy who delivers all the orders in a single trip and then returns to the restaurant. However, your friend is not happy with the delivery time. She believes that if the delivery boy follows a better route, the total delivery time can be reduced. She thinks a program can be created to suggest the shortest and fastest route. So she asks you to design an algorithm and write code for a mobile app. This app should calculate the best delivery route every time new orders come in. Your friend is even ready to pay you for this service. Now you understand the problem. The number of food orders and customer locations will change each time. You will be given the customer locations and all possible routes with their distances. You realize that this problem can be represented as a graph. Each customer is a node, and edge exists between two nodes if there is a direct route between the two customers. The weight of the edge shows the travel distance or time. With this graph model, you can now think about designing the algorithm to solve the problem. After spending a lot of time and gaining a deep understanding of the problem, you realize something important. The algorithm needs an exponential number of steps to find the best solution. This means that if there are many orders to process, it could take years or even longer to find that solution. At this point, you have already put in a lot of effort. You understand the problem well and you are ready to design a solution. But first, you need a way to explain to your friend why the problem is so hard. To do that, you begin looking into other well known problems that are known to be hard to solve. While studying, you come across the famous traveling salesman problem. To your surprise, you realize that your problem is actually very similar to traveling salesman problem, a problem that many experts already agree is extremely hard to solve. You want to prove this similarity so there is no doubt left. You have to demonstrate two things. First, you have to establish a relationship that if there is no efficient algorithm for the traveling salesman problem, then there is no efficient algorithm for your problem. And second, there is no efficient algorithm for the traveling salesman problem. However, you run into a roadblock. There is no solid proof that shows there is no efficient algorithm for the traveling salesman problem, another difficult problem. But this is not a big issue. Even though there is no formal proof, many famous researchers have tried and failed to find an efficient algorithm that always gives the best solution for these problems. So, instead of proving that no efficient solution exists, your goal becomes simpler. Demonstrate that your problem is like one of these well known hard problems. That way, you can feel confident and help your friend understand that finding a quick, perfect solution is likely impossible. Now, you might be wondering, what do we need to demonstrate that our problem is similar to one of those well known hard problems? The answer lies in something called the theory of P versus NP and NP completeness. This theory helps us understand why some problems are so hard to solve. It tells us that if a problem is NP complete, it's very unlikely that we can find an efficient algorithm that always gives the best solution. In fact, if we do find such an algorithm for just one NP complete problem, we could use it to solve many other hard problems quickly too, which is a big deal. In this video, we explored why the theory of NP completeness matters in computer science. It helps us understand what makes some problems so hard to solve. In the next episode, we will dive into the basics, understanding computational problems, their instances, and what exactly we mean by an algorithm. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss what's coming next.